13 News Now begins with breaking news.
Well, another bad day on Wall Street. The Dow Jones plummeted 1,175 points. At one point, it was down as much as 1,600 points.
The last time the Dow dropped more than this in terms of percentage was back in 2011. The slump started Friday when the Dow dropped as investors were worried about higher inflation and interest rates.
Healthcare, energy, and financial stocks all posted the steepest declines. One expert says there's no need to be alarmed, though, that this was expected and puts the markets back on a more sustainable path. All right, prosecutors dropped a bombshell development in court. A Norfolk teacher killed on New Year's Eve was not the intended target.
They say Caroline Hendricks' death happened as a result of a love triangle and a case of mistaken identity.
13 News Now reporter Stephen Graves is live in Norfolk. And Stephen, break this down for us.
Yeah, guys, well, to be honest, prosecutors even said this is a complicated, confusing story. They told the judge that before laying it all out. Even though here we have this alleged love triangle and, the mistaken identity, at the end of the day, they say that these two suspects did have intent to kill. Today, Taniqua Cushman was emotionless as she stood before the court. A judge denied her bond after hearing bombshell evidence that connects her to murder. The victim, a beloved Norfolk preschool teacher, Caroline Hendricks, who wasn't even the intended target. Prosecutors say that New Year's Eve night, Edward Shaw shot Caroline to death. We've learned at the time the 70-year-old man was in a sexual relationship with 22-year-old Taniqua. The two met online about a year and a half ago. It was, quote, love for Shaw, prosecutors say, as he gave her money for school and business, something Taniqua described as a friends with benefits type of deal. But prosecutors say this was actually a love triangle. The third person involved, another lover of Taniqua's who she wanted gone. So she's accused of arranging a hit that Shaw was supposed to execute. Turns out that man was a friend of Caroline Hendricks's. On the night of the shooting, prosecutors say the two were in a van together on Virginia Drive in Norfolk. Shaw thought he was shooting the man, but it ended up being the teacher. After the shooting, Shaw allegedly texted Taniqua while she was at work saying, quote, "I shot him." None of this was known to Taniqua's family, speechless after court. Do you have anything to say about this whole situation?
Please get out my way.
So it was very abrupt there. As you can imagine, they're also confused. Now, Taniqua also has a fiance who is not one of these two men in the story. He was in court today. We talked to him afterward. He said he had no idea why she was in jail or any of the details. You can only imagine being in that courtroom hearing this. Hear what he had to say to us coming up at 6. Reporting in Norfolk, I'm Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.
Breaking news right now, at least 10 people held hostage inside a Miami restaurant. Police say they were first called the Joseph's Club restaurant in reference to a robbery involving a cell phone. When officers arrived, a woman came running out and said that she and other employees were being held hostage by management. We're told the SWAT team has made its way inside, but it's unclear what's happening. We'll update you the moment we learn more.
Right now, Portsmouth police are looking for leads after 2 people were shot early this morning. This was the scene around 4 o'clock on Seminole Drive. Police say one man was shot in the stomach, the other somewhere in his upper body. It's not clear how they're doing right now or if police are looking for any suspects. But if you have any information that can help, call the crime line. That number is 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. Right now, police in Newport News are asking people to be on the lookout for a red car they say was involved in a drive-by shooting. It happened just after midnight on Sunday on 22nd Street. Police say when they got to the scene, they found a man who had been shot in the hip. We're told he was walking down the street when someone in a red vehicle drove by, shot at him. He is expected to be okay.
Tonight, 2 rape cases have been solved. One man responsible for both. The crimes happened in the 80s in Virginia Beach, but now, because of DNA evidence, the attacker is behind bars. 13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee dug up some information on Reuben Slade Jr. She's live tonight in the studio. Jacqueline.
Janet, Slade pled guilty to 2 counts of rape. The first happened in September 1984, the second just weeks later.
2 women found justice today after 58-year-old Reuben Slade pled guilty in court this morning to raping both of them more than 3 decades ago. According to court documents, the first victim was sleeping in her home on Kentucky Avenue. It's September 1984 when Slade came in through an unlocked window and raped her. Then, just 16 days later, a different woman gets off work late one night and goes into a convenience store on 17th and Pacific Avenue. She sees a man standing outside but thinks nothing of it. When she returns and drives off, the man came up out of her back seat, made her drive to a dead-end street, and then raped her. The attacker was a mystery to both of these women, their cases unsolved until May 2014 when Virginia Beach cold case detectives ran the DNA evidence from the crimes. There was a hit. Reuben Slade. When Slade was questioned about the incidents, court documents say Slade responded that he, quote, did a lot of stuff in the 80s. And now, more than 30 years later, he pled guilty in court.
Slade's sentencing is set for June 11th. He's looking at a maximum of 2 life terms. Live in studio, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.
New details tonight in a deadly car crash in Chesapeake over the weekend. We've learned the victim was an assistant principal at Norview Middle School. Police say LaDon Durant was killed when the car she was in was turning left and was hit on the passenger side by an oncoming car. Happened at the intersection of Taylor Road and Taylor Court just before 11 o'clock last night. We're told Durant was rushed to Centera, Norfolk General, where she died. No word right now on whether any charges will be filed.
Virginia Beach Public Schools is on the forefront of teaching students about prescription drug addiction, and now the 2-year-old curriculum might be used statewide. The State Education Committee is looking into a bill proposing just that. 13 News Now reporter Megan Shin is with us live in the studio tonight with the final push to get this bill approved. Megan?
David, that's correct. This is the final push, and we don't know yet if House Bill 1532 has passed yet, but it's been a lot of work from teachers, the community, and this last testimony to hopefully seal the deal.
Draw pictures of her.
This is Caitlin Weems.
She had 8 or 9 different really strong medications.
Caitlin died in 2013 from drug addiction.
She had a back injury and then a facial injury playing sports, and she got very addicted to painkillers.
Her mom, Carolyn Weems, is a school board member for Virginia Beach Public Schools.
In my opinion, prevention and education is so important.
She helped develop a program to educate kids about the dangers of opioid prescription drugs.
And I always know that Caitlin would want me to do that because she did not like where she was.
Today, Carolyn is testifying in front of the Education Committee to pass a bill implementing the Virginia Beach curriculum across the state.
And certainly it would be an honor.
Administrative Coordinator Nicole DeVries says the program teaches students in 1st through 10th grades.
There's increasing sophistication as the grade levels go on.
And there's so much science involved with it.
Weems says a program like this could have saved her daughter's life.
We were just uninformed. She would want other people to be able to kick this and not even get in the situation of being addicted to these strong medications.
And the bill still has to pass committee, but if it does, it has to go through several steps before it becomes a law. Stay with us on 13 News Now at 6. We'll tell you the new program Carolyn Weems is working on to create help for those combating addiction. In the studio, Megan Shin, 13 News Now.
There's a new push to solve a decades-old cold case tonight. A local company putting out billboards hoping to get answers about the disappearance of a 14-year-old boy. 13 News Now reporter Megan Puryear is in the studio with more.
Janet, Darren Hillis disappeared 45 years ago, but the search for him continues today. I spoke with his family, and they're not giving up.
Let us know where you're at. We're not mad at you. We just want to know you're all right.
That's Dana Harris, Darren's brother. Darren was just 14 when he disappeared in Norfolk.
My sister both figured he was playing hooky, which he'd never done before.
Darren left his house at 7 a.m. on March 12, 1973. I took his same walk to that bus stop. It's just 6 minutes away.
It was a Monday morning, and me and my sister both home sick. And the player called like 9:30 that morning to say that he wasn't in school.
Blair Middle School officials called the house. Darren never arrived that day.
When my parents got home at 5 o'clock, me and my dad went and walked in the woods across the street looking for him. We couldn't find him.
Darren was a normal kid. He was a little quiet but wanted to be an astronaut. His family still thinks he's out there.
Somebody would call our house on holidays and
These calls stopped in 1994 when the family sold the house. He was 6'4" with reddish-brown hair and hazel eyes. Today, he would be 59 years old. But local company Adams Outdoor Billboards is taking up the family's cause for free. They're putting up digital billboards to keep the case alive. As for Dana, he's appreciative.
An email later, a couple days later, said that they were going to donate the space jewels, which that I almost started crying when I heard that.
And any details involving the disappearance of Darren Hillis is appreciated. If you have any information that might help in this crime case, call the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. Megan Purrier, 13 News Now.
Virginia Beach city leaders are working to figure out how to spend federal money to improve one of the city's most flood-prone neighborhoods. FEMA reimbursed the city more than $5 million after Hurricane Matthew flooded the Windsor Woods neighborhood 2 years ago. City manager wants that money to go toward pipe improvement projects in the area. If the funding gets the green light, construction would start in 2020. As the flu epidemic continues to grip the U.S., the city of Hampton is trying to keep residents there healthy by offering a free flu shot clinic. It'll be this Thursday, February 8th, at the Hampton Health Department. That is on Victoria Boulevard. Starts at 10 o'clock, goes until 4 or until the vaccine runs out. Doctors say it is not too late to get the flu shot, and even though it takes some time for the vaccine to become effective, it's still better than not being vaccinated at all.
History buffs, listen up. A letter written by Alexander Hamilton will be on the auction block next month. It was written in 1794. In the letter, Hamilton asks for wagons during the Whiskey Rebellion. The money raised during the auction will benefit the Hill House Museum in Portsmouth. It's an historic home furnished with family belongings from several generations. The auction will be March 22nd in Falls Church.